Excellent. Okay, so today I'd like to introduce you to today's presenter. Her name is Bree Nicholson. Bree is the founder of Pep and Gusto, which offers 20 years of marketing expertise, crafting impactful brand stories and strategies. She specializes in tailored solutions for growth and engagement across diverse industries. Collaborating with experts, she delivers measurable data-driven plans, empowering clients to navigate the evolving market from brand launches to strategy refinement. Her focus remains on achieving tangible results with a passion for innovation. I've just lost my notes then, sorry. And she guides brands with clarity and confidence. Welcome, everyone, and I'd like to welcome Bree to get us started. Thank you.
Thanks, Rachel. It's great to be here today. Thanks, everybody. I'm just going to share my screen. So just give me 1 minute. Okay, can everybody see my screen? Okay, fantastic.
Yes.
Fantastic. So I'm going to start off and I'll tell you a little bit about what we're going to talk about today. So we're going to start off with a question, and then I'm going to talk about some common marketing mistakes, because I think it's really important for us to be able to understand the reason why our marketing may or may not be working for us. I understand that, marketing in small businesses can be really overwhelming. So we'll start to talk through some of that. Then we'll move into a strategic marketing plan, and we'll talk about what a strategic marketing plan actually is and why is it so important. And then we'll talk about what makes a successful marketing plan. And then I'll go through each element of a marketing plan, and then we can finish up with some questions. So my question for you today, and you can either pop it, it's up to you. You can choose to pop it in the chat, or you can just write it down on a piece of paper. But I'd like you to write down, what is your biggest marketing challenge? And the aim of today is, hopefully by the end, we've either answered it or we've got you thinking differently about the solution for this challenge. Once you've done that, I'm going to ask you another question, but I'm actually going to answer it. This is a question that I quite often ask in workshops. It's a bit more challenging to do online, but it really gets you thinking about your brand. And the question I quite often ask is, if you were a brand, what brand would you be and why? And the reason I ask that is because as people, inherently, we are about connection. We connect with our family, we connect with our friends, and we connect with our peers. The most important, and what we want to do with our brand, is we want to connect with brands. We want brands that have shared values. So in my instance, if I was a brand, the brand I would be Nike. Their tagline, "Just do it," it embodies who I am as a person, but it also embodies what I've brought into my business. So my business name, Pep and Gusto. Pep is all about enthusiasm, having a pep in your step, and the word gusto is about really being able to roll your sleeves up and get in there and help businesses to grow. So for me, if I was a brand, the brand Nike really it resonates with me both personally and professionally. So the reason I say this as well is that it's really important that, as I said, about connection. So if we can unlock and we can ensure that our brand is connecting with its target audience, this is where we see long-term success. So I encourage you all today to consider this as I'm talking through this presentation. Okay, so let's talk about common marketing mistakes that I see a lot of businesses make. So the first one, and the biggest one, is that businesses are activity focused in their marketing. And I also see a lot of marketers being activity focused. And what I mean by this is that the focus is put on a social media campaign or on advertising. What happens is, I find that in doing this, we're not understanding what we're actually trying to achieve with our marketing activity. And therefore, the most common thing I hear is that my marketing just isn't working for me. So what we really need to do is make sure that we understand what we're trying to achieve with our marketing before implementing marketing activities. A lot of businesses don't have a marketing plan. And therefore, they have a lot of great ideas for marketing activities, but they don't know how to prioritize them. It becomes very overwhelming, and they either don't do the marketing activity or they are running marketing activities that just aren't working for them. The third thing is lack of understanding of your target audience. So quite often when I work with my clients, they're able to name who their target audience is. So their target audience might be mums, it could be families, it could be tradies, it could be children. But what they don't understand is who these people are, what makes them tick, and how they're going to connect with their brand, service, or product. The fourth one is not clearly identifying what your unique selling proposition is. So, and what this means is by understanding what the gaps are in the market in which you play, what your competitors are doing, and ensuring that your offer, whether it be product or service or a combination of both, has a real point of difference to others on the market. The fifth one is lack of brand consistency. So what we want to ensure is that our look and feel is the same across everything that we do. And this is how we really start to increase our brand awareness. If you look at this slide that I'm presenting, for example, what you can see is you can see my little logo in the bottom right-hand corner. You can see the font is the same. You can see my brand color is that watermelon color. And you can see in the image, my nails are the same color, the fonts are the same color. The imagery throughout this presentation will be all quite similar as well. And this is where we start to have brand consistency. And the final one is that people are using social media solely as a sales tool. So if we think back to connection that I spoke about a little bit earlier, the reason why most people are on social media is to connect. We want to connect with family, with friends, with people we went to primary school with or high school with. We want to see what people are up to and what they're doing. We want to hear their recommendations and we want to get ideas from them. So a brand can have great success on social media from a connection point of view. We're not on social media to be sold to. Even when you're at the shops, if somebody comes up to you and starts talking to you about a product or a service that they want to sell, you're very likely to disengage. It's the same on social media. So what's really important is we figure out ways and topics that we can try and connect with our target audience. The general run of mill is of 5 social media posts. One could be a potential sales lead. The others should be about connecting, informing, and educating your audience. So, what is a strategic marketing plan? So, a strategic marketing plan is the overall plan that connects your prospective customers, your target audience, to your business, your product, and/or your service, and turns them into long-term customers. So what we want to make sure that we do is that we understand who our audience is. We want to make sure that we understand who our market is. And then we want to build activities and prioritize them in the right order.
Bree, I'm sorry, you've just muted. You need to unmute yourself.
I've just unmuted myself. Can you hear me now?
We can hear you.
Sorry. Yeah, you can hear me. Fantastic. So the next thing is why is a marketing plan so important? So the reasons why I always suggest to my clients to have a marketing plan is because number one, it helps you to achieve your overall business goals. It ensures that you are targeted towards your ideal customer. It gives you more time to spend on working on other areas of your business because it ensures that you are across your marketing activity and ensures that you remain on track with your marketing activity. It also saves you money by ensuring that you maximize your return on investment for your marketing activities. So quite often, as I said, I hear a lot of people say that their marketing just isn't working for them. So it makes sure that the investment in your marketing activity is working as hard for you as it possibly can. And it also ensures the long-term success of your business. So what are the key areas that makes a successful marketing plan? So my suggestion is always it's about analysis. We need to continue to do research and analyze the market. We need to set clear and measurable goals. We need to ensure that we understand who our target audience is, and we need to do a lot of planning to make sure that our marketing activities are happen in the right order and in a timely way. So the areas that we're going to go through today in terms of building a successful marketing plan is the business analysis phase and then the marketing plan. So the business analysis phase covers business goals, SWOT analysis, competitor analysis, unique selling proposition, and then we move into our marketing plan, which includes target audience profiling, marketing objectives, marketing activities, plan on a page, timeline, and budget. So first, we're going to talk about goal setting. So when we talk about goal setting in a marketing plan, we're not talking about marketing goals. We're talking about overall business goals, because what we want to do, and this is where the strategy comes into place, is we want to ensure that the marketing that we are doing is helping us to meet our business goals. If we're not doing that, there's almost no point in doing your marketing, because what you want to ensure is that you have business objectives and you're able to grow to those. Or every marketing activity that you do should help you to meet at least one of these goals, if not more. So what I always recommend is that we have a maximum of 3 business growth goals. Now, from a business point of view, you may have multiple, you may have 5, you may have 10 business growth goals. I'm going to say that you should pick your top 3 to focus on with your marketing. And the reason why I say a maximum of 3 and no more is because if we go any further than that, our marketing plans become huge. They become quite costly, and we can only do so much with our marketing activity. We want it to try and be targeted. The more targeted we can be in our marketing, the more successful our marketing is going to be. So when I talk about setting business goals, we want them to be a mixture of short and long-term goals, and we want them to be measurable and achievable. So an example of a goal I've heard before is that I want to grow my sales. So what I always would then turn around and say is, let's be a little bit more targeted in that. And let's say, how do we think we might grow our sales, or where do we want to grow our sales, and by how much and in what time frame? So an example of a good growth goal would be that I want to grow my online sales by X% or X dollar amount in the next 6 or 12 months. So I would suggest you might only have one goal, but like I said, a maximum of 3 goals. Once we have set out our goals, we then move into the next phase, which is SWOT analysis. So SWOT analysis is strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. The strengths and weaknesses focus on the internal factors, the factors that we can control, and the opportunities and threats talk about external factors. So when we think of strengths, they could be things like knowledge of the industry. It could be the connections that you have to grow your business. It could be process or technology driven. When we talk about weaknesses, we think about the same types of things, but they are things that are going to impede your success. For example, you might not have the right processes, or you might be time poor and you might need to consider bringing on a staff member. Those sorts of things could be your potential weaknesses. So list them all out. There is, as many as you can. Then move into your opportunities. So the opportunities are the external factors, or the things or the opportunities for your business to grow and succeed. So it could be things like launching a new product or service, or adding a value-add service to your product. It could be things like targeting a new target audience, or changing your sales to, maybe if you've got a bricks and mortar store, it could be increasing your online sales presence, for example. Then finally, we look at threats, which are the external factors that could impede your success. These are things, again, that we have no control over. So it could be things like cost of living. It could be a change in government policy. It could be a cost of goods increase. So have a think about all those external things, those threats. And the idea behind this SWOT analysis is that when we go back and review our marketing plan, and they should be reviewed about every 12 months, the whole idea is that some of those weaknesses that we first identified, we would hope to turn them into strengths. Some of those opportunities that we outlined when we first did our SWOT analysis, we would want to capitalize on some of those. Once we've completed our SWOT analysis, We then move into our competitor analysis. Now, I hear a lot of businesses say to me that I understand who my competitors are, which is good. Obviously, we need to do that. What I always suggest, though, is this is something we should revisit every 6 months to ensure that we stay ahead of the game. And I also suggest that you record it, you write it down, and we look at the 5 Ps. So what you want to do is you want to look at the products. So what are the products? What are the claims on the products? Or for a service-based business, what are the services? What are they offering? Are there any value adds to that service? We want to look at price. So what is the price that they're charging? Is there any promotions? So if they're doing promotions, how often are they doing those promotions? And what are the promotions? The place. So where are they selling their service or product? It could be location-based. So it could be, for example, in the city of Melton. It could be a bricks and mortar store. It could be online. So really having a look at where that product or service is sold. And then the position of both the products and the brand. So is it higher end? Is it middle of the range? Or is it positioned as a value product? Once we understand that, we then can start to look at some gaps in the market, and then we very quickly move on to our unique selling proposition, which is the next phase. So once we understand who our competitors are and what the market landscape looks like, we really want to understand our product and what makes our product or service unique compared to our competition. So if we're unsure of what that looks like, we really need to, what we want to do is we want to understand what the gaps are, and we want to see if our product or service or our brand can fit into any of those gaps, which will further highlight our unique selling proposition. As well as looking at your product or service, look at your brand. Is my brand the same, or is it different to others out there on the market? And when I talk about looking at your brand, it's not just your logo, it's about your colors, the position of your brand, how others are going to perceive your brand. Okay, so that rounds off the analysis phase of a marketing plan. Then we move into target audience profiling, and this is probably one of the trickier parts of building a marketing plan, but it's also one of the most important parts of building a marketing plan. As I mentioned before, most people can talk about who their target audience is or name their target audience. What we want to do in this phase is we really want to understand them. We want to understand what makes them tick, what they value most, what their family setup is like, and how are we going to connect with our target audience and on what platforms. So I look at 4 key areas. The first one is demographics. So we look at what is the age of our target audience. What does their household composition look like? Are they living with a partner? Are they married? Do they have children? How many children? And what are the age of their children? We want to look at their geographic location, and we can be as targeted as we need in this area as we need to be. So it could be a specific area such as the city of Melton, but then we can also go broader and say, well, is it Melbourne based? Is it state based? Is it national? So this is something that we really need to spend some time on considering, because where somebody lives can really change up your marketing activities and how you're going to connect with your market, with your target audience. Have a look at employment. Are they employed? Are they working full-time or part-time? What might they be doing for an occupation, and how much might they be earning? And then finally, looking at education. Once we understand the demographics, we then want to move into psychographics, and we want to look at the following areas. So what is their lifestyle? What are they doing? What do they value? Are they, if for example, if they're a family, are they involved in their community? Is it sports? Is it health and wellness? Is it sustainability? What does their lifestyle look like? What are their values and what are their interests? We also want to note in this section what technology they might be using. And how well they know technology. So for example, are they using a smartphone, and what might they be using it for? Are they using social media? Are they using the internet to search for information? And then what are their aspirations? What do they want for their future? Once we understand that, we want to then move into consumer behavior and understand how they're spending their money. For example, what are the things that they're happy to spend more money on? And what are the things that they're looking for value? And how are they making their purchase decisions? Are they looking to their peers? Are they searching the internet before going to a bricks and mortar store? Are they purchasing online? They're the sorts of things that we really want to understand in this section. And are they brand loyal? And to which particular brands would they be brand loyal to? So, for example, in this area, when we talk about brand loyalty, it could be a case of they're looking for brands that are sustainable and then more likely to stick to this brand due to sustainability. And the final thing is environmental and social responsibility. The fourth and final area is needs and pain points. And what we really want to look at here is what are the things that your target audience are looking for? What are the challenges they're facing and how are they trying to overcome them, and how can your brand assist you to overcome with them? And as part of that, we also want to look at social media. We want to look at their online platforms and traditional media. So what type of social media are they most likely to connect with? Are they looking to connect with social media with Facebook? Is it TikTok, Instagram, LinkedIn, for example? And for other platforms, such as are they watching free-to-air TV? Are they watching catch-up TV? What apps might they be watching? Could it be Netflix, for example? And then finally, traditional media. Are they reading the newspaper? Are they reading it online? Are they reading it? Are they actually physically still purchasing a newspaper? All of those things are really key things to understand, because the vehicle that you are going to use for your marketing is incredibly important. The other thing to consider is, are they listening to podcasts or traditional radio? Once we complete our target audience profiling for our first target audience, quite often a lot of businesses have more than one. So you can repeat this process as many times as you need. You're not going to have all the answers up front. What I would suggest is that this is where you need to really do your research. So you can use the internet to search up a lot of these. Once you've got your demographics sorted, you can use the internet to really search up, my target audience is mums aged between the age of 30 and 40 living in the northwest of Melbourne, for example. Can you give me some details around their lifestyle, their values? Doing internet searches like that will give you a lot of the information that you need to profile your target audience. Once you've completed this process, what I suggest that you do is continue this for each of your target audiences. I usually suggest to clients that only have one to look at minimum of 2 target audiences. So what I generally suggest is, who's currently buying your product or service? We need to profile them. But who else do you think you might be able to sell your product or service to? Let's profile them as well, because that's going to help you to grow your business. Once we really clearly understand who our target audience is, we then move into setting our marketing objectives. So this is different to our business goals. What we want to do here is we want to clearly identify what we want to achieve with our marketing. So I always suggest here to set 3 to 5 goals. And again, they can be a mixture of short and long-term goals, and they can be measurable, and they should always be measurable. The one caveat I'm going to put on this is raising brand awareness. So most businesses will have that they want to raise brand awareness. They want to increase their brand awareness. And of course, we all want people to know who our business is. What I would say to that is, yes, it's something that you can measure, but there's quite a bit of investment needed to measure brand awareness. So for most of us on this call, we won't be doing that. So what I would say is, it's okay in that instance to have raise brand awareness as a marketing objective, but wherever we can, let's make sure that they're measurable. So for example, I'd like to increase my followers on Facebook by X amount. So once we've set our marketing objectives, the next thing that we would move into is, what are the marketing activities? Now, there's quite a few things in here that we want to talk about and consider. So this is quite a lengthy process. The first thing that I would say is to list out all the marketing activities that you are currently doing or you have ever thought of doing. Now, even if it's out of your price range, list them all down. It's always good to have that list. I've written marketing plans before where we've had 80 marketing activities. Now, of course, we're not going to do them all, but it's a really good place to start. Then you've got a really good list that you can always go back to at any point. Once you've listed them all out, the first thing that I do, then we move into the prioritizing phase. So how we do that is we go through each of those marketing activities and we ask if it matches either of our target audiences. If the answer is no, we strike it off the list straight away. Then we go through, and obviously those that we already know are going to be way out of our price range, our budget. What we will do is we'll exclude those as well while we're building our marketing plan. But as I said, it's good to have them there on the list. The next thing that we'll do is we'll talk about our business goals. And what I would always suggest to do is go through each marketing activity and ask yourself the question, does it align to my business goals? If it aligns to 1, give it 1 tick. If it aligns to 2, give it 2 ticks. If it aligns to 3, give it 3 ticks. Then we do the same for our marketing objectives. We ask the question, does it meet marketing objective 1? If so, yes, give it a tick. Does it align with marketing objective 2? If yes, give it a tick, and so on and so on. Then what we can clearly see is we look at each of our marketing activities. The ones that have the most tick are going to give us the highest return on investment and are going to be the most effective for us. So they become our key marketing activities. Now, the one thing I'm going to say to you when you're doing this is I want everyone to ask themselves the question, do they have a strong brand presence? Do they have brand consistency? And what I mean by brand consistency is it's more than just a logo. This is our look, our feel, our colors, our fonts. If the answer to this is no, branding should be your number one marketing activity, because once we start to do this and people start to recognize our brand, our colors, our logos, what that means is we're already increasing our brand awareness. That's the number one driver for increasing brand awareness. So the next thing that we would do when we're working through our marketing activities is we think about the timings and we think about the measurables. How are we going to measure the success of our marketing activities? And then we move into cost and how much that might cost. The next phase is building our plan on a page. So this is a really incredible tool that once this is built, you can look at this one page and you can really see what your plan is and how you're going to track your marketing activities. So what you do is in the first area, the business goals, you're going to put your business goals into these 3 boxes. Now, if you've only got one, you just put 1, 2, or 3. Then what we're going to do is include our marketing objectives in there. And then you're going to put your top 6 marketing activities. And how we would read this page is we start from the bottom up. So we look at our marketing activity. Let's say, for example, that our marketing activity might be to increase our social media platforms. Our marketing objective might be to reach X amount of followers in 6 months' time. So we should be able to look at our marketing activity, clearly understand which marketing objective it's going to align to, and therefore which business goal it's going to meet. Once we're able to do this, we can clearly see our first priority marketing activity is number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, and so on. So what we want to do here is make sure that the first marketing activity is what our priority would be. Now, sometimes by the end of the 12 months, as I said, we should review this every 12 months. We may have only done marketing activity 1 or marketing activity 1 and 2, and that's okay. But it gives us a really good basis to start our next year and understand where we want to grow and where our priorities should be. Once we've built out our marketing activities and we know what we're going to focus on for the year, I always suggest to build a timeline. So let's have a look and say, okay, realistically, it's going to take me X amount of time to get this up and running. Here is when I want to launch it. and here's how long it's going to go for. So in the case of social media, once it's up and running, it should be ongoing. But you might do short bursts where you have a paid campaign, or it might be a different activity. You might have a trade show or a networking event that you want to attend, so you can start to really clearly map out and make sure that you've got the time to prioritize each one. For example, if you've got a lot stacked up in May, you might want to look to push things out a little bit to make sure that you're giving ample time to all activities. And finally, budget. We really want to have a look at the budget, make sure that we set a budget that we can achieve, that's measurable. It allows us to actually to start to look back on our marketing activity and say, did that really deliver the return on investment that I thought it was going to deliver? And it makes sure that we can track our spend and make sure that we're not overspending on our marketing activities. So what we've talked about today is we've talked about the key areas of a marketing marketing plan. We've talked about all the things that we need to build to build a strategic marketing plan. But what we need to remember is that building a strategic marketing plan is incredibly important, and it's fundamental in ensuring that our marketing for our business is working as hard as it can for us. It's going to help us to achieve our overall business goals. It's going to be targeted towards our ideal customers. It's going to give us more time to focus on other areas of our business by ensuring that we're targeted and we can remain on track. It's going to allow us to save money on our marketing activities by ensuring that we understand what we're doing. It's going to maximize our return on investment, and it's going to help us to ensure the long-term success of our business. We also need to remember that when we're building this, it's all about analysis, doing the analysis up front, making sure that we understand the market in which we play. We want to be able to have clear goals, business goals set, and marketing objectives set. We want to make sure that we spend a lot of time on our target audience profiling, ensuring that we understand how we're going to connect with them, how our brand, our product, or our service is going to connect with our target audience. And we want to make sure that we spend some time in the planning phase and making sure that all of the marketing activities that we are doing is going to be, all the marketing activities that we are doing is going to be in a timely fashion and prioritized in the right order. Okay, do we have any questions?
Okay, before we do go to questions, I am going to end the recording. So thank you, Bree. So the recording will be finished as